Hey everyone, it's Meg with Seed to Fork. Thanks for watching. It is April and it's time for me to show you my April garden tour, and I'm going to show you around the garden outside as well as show you what's growing inside still, up on our deck mostly. We are past our last frost, dare I say that here, but it happened on the 21st was our last frost. We have nothing lower than a 40 something degree evening in our 2-week forecast, highs in the 60s and 70s. It's remarkable. We usually do not have a spring this lovely, but as you can see, the garden's already responding. We've got our paths are greening up. I've even got some of my low tunnel covers already taken off on my earliest brassicas because this is great growing weather for them and they're already established. So I'm going to show you around and show you what's popping up here and there. And I hope you enjoy seeing where our garden's at right now in the growing season, and I look forward to sharing these monthly garden tours with you throughout the season. So thanks so much for being here. Enjoy the tour. All right, so not unlike last year, this is our earliest bed. I planted these radishes in about the middle of March, and look, I've been stalking that one. That one's coming out soon. And I've got some Romanesco, and what else do we have? These are salad turnips, which is one of my favorite sweet but rooty. Oh, it's one of my favorite greens. Not greens, root vegetables. Our bok choy is almost ready to harvest. I mean, look at the size of these leaves. So this is going to be something we're going to be eating this week before the end of May. It's always been our goal to continue to get things maturing earlier and earlier, and we're getting there year by year. Kohlrabi. Some of my kohlrabi, I've got something eating my plants and I'm not sure what it is. I'm still trying to identify it before I share it, but I'm going to show you. There it is. But what it's doing is it's defoliating in between the veins. I feel like I should know what this is, but I don't remember, I don't retain this kind of stuff, so I just always have to research it. It's looking pretty good, all in all, except for that pest damage. Different pest than last year. I've got tomatoes in this bed as well that I'll show you here in a minute. This other bed is my other early season bed, and it's got lettuce, celery, arugula, spinach, red cabbage, beets, and it has some green cabbage as well. And I don't find it quite as stunning or photogenic. Like, beets are delicious, but I don't find them to be the most photogenic thing out there, so I don't really show this bed a lot. It's a kind of a utilitarian bed. Still beautiful in its own way, but there's something I love about bok choy and kale together and things like that. We've got a really bad quackgrass problem. We've known about it. This is maybe the worst I've seen it in spring, and here's probably why, is because this was hooped, and so it woke up extra early right here. I am going to be taking the rest of this cover off today, and I will leave it off. So inside here there are other tomatoes. And there's about 10 or 12 of them in here, and these seemed to be doing a little bit better. Sorry, my photography skills are not good here today. These seem to be doing a bit better than the other tunnel. Let's do it. We've got some more early season foods. This is an early season bed here. I've got some snow peas and snap peas. I've got carrots. I started germinating them this way last year and I absolutely love it. I put burlap. I open the burlap bags up and I cut them, and it helps retain moisture and really makes carrot germination just much easier. They're not up yet, I don't think. I've been checking. I haven't seen any yet. Still no signs of life. I did kind of a double row right here, which I don't usually do. I always try new things. These are some snap peas here, Opal Creek. This is going to be our determinate tomato bed. All those stakes are where determinate tomatoes are going to go. So I have started to interplant already. I've got, those are radicchios. I'm hoping they're done or close to done by the time the tomatoes go in. And then I've got sweet alyssum that I've interplanted here. And I am going to be planting flowers in the middle of this bed to complement and interplant with the tomatoes. I've not grown determinates yet, but we'll see how that goes. So over here, this was a bed that I had double hooped. And so we planted radishes, and I've got some carrots here that have germinated. Can you see them? Yep, those are purple haze carrots. This is my first year with a ton of snapdragon seedlings. So I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not a big fan of massive self-seeders, so I do know how I feel about it. But they're pretty easy to pull up, so I'm just gonna be strategic about where I plant my snapdragons this year. And these are shelling peas. And again, I planted these under the double cover, so that's why they don't have a trellis yet, but I am gonna add a trellis to them today, and I'll show you my trellis method. I think these get about 40 inches tall. So I will do a trellis that is close to that, maybe a little less, but we'll see. But these are looking really nice. They came up really well, and they came up pretty fast because they were covered as well. So these are just some cattle panels I had cut down a couple years ago, and these are probably close to 40 inches. I should zip tie them, and I should maybe stake them, but I haven't done that yet, so I also might just let it be just like that. These beds are longer over here, and these are the ones that I never look forward to edging. They look bad, but I don't think they are actually that bad because there's not as much quack grass on this side of the garden. It's mostly creeping Charlie, which will get pulled up really easily. So just gonna try and do a bed a day or close to a bed a day here, and we'll be all edged by next weekend and edged enough to be able to plant. So I think I talked about this last year. My husband loves to espalier, and espaliering is kind of a part of his family history. And so we've got about 14 or 15 trees that were espaliered, but this is a Harrelson, and it is very likely gonna flower this year and have fruit. Looks really great. It's very exciting. We have established fruit trees in every house we've lived in, and we got fruit in the first house we lived in. Second house, we didn't live there long enough to get fruit, and now here we are at the third house, and fruit's finally coming in. Hopefully we'll be here for a long time. This is our plum, and it is gonna have a ton of flowers. It's a black ice plum, and our other plum is not gonna flower as well, so I think we're gonna grab some wild plum blossoms and tuck them in vases below that, so that hopefully the mason bees and other pollinators will help pollinate that plum tree. We've got a couple of different apples that look like they have got some blossoms, and our apricot is really close. And this is a Brookcott apricot. We've never actually tried one, but there are several blossoms here. I have to say, on a year, this couldn't be a better year for our first fruit. I mean, it's really, really exciting. So the orchard is really a beautiful part of the garden that's very much a long-term vision. And it's coming along slowly but surely, and it's gonna be beautiful in a few more years. The first plant to wake up has about a half a dozen spears already coming up here, and it looks really great. Look at that. We're gonna be harvesting in another day or two, it looks like, from that plant, which is really exciting. I don't think we harvested any asparagus last year until closer to the beginning of May, or in May. It's still April, right? We got April. April's here for another week. And this is our garlic. I planted less garlic this year. I planted, I don't know, about 70 cloves here, and then another 10 or 12 cloves just outside the garden. This is all hardneck. Music, German red, I think, and I forget what the other variety is. I need to strategically start thinking about where I want those vertical elements, and then kind of figure out where my brassicas can go, this next set of brassicas, which will come out of the garden by, middle of July. So I have to think about where I want that. And my peppers as well, I need to start thinking about where they're gonna go. And I have no idea, I have no idea where those things are gonna go. So, we'll just make it work. And then I was working on this earlier today. These were some beds that were definitely in need of edging. And we're getting there. This is kind of the long, slow process of preparing for spring. We run a string line. So I got half of that bed done and half of this bed done, and ran out of steam here, but we are going to be ordering our compost to be delivered this week. because we have enough beds ready that we are ready to get a load and start top dressing so we can really get going on planting out the rest of the garden. It's been so warm, and we really feel really lucky. So. All right, so we have a lot of things up on our deck still, and I am still covering most things overnight. This is what's in here. We've got snapdragons, a few poppies, and some sweet alyssum. And the other tray that I used as kind of an anchor is my larkspur that actually, it's kind of funny. This is one of these learnings. This is only my 3rd year growing it, and it is doing better self-sown in the garden. So I might stop sowing it. So let's see what's under here. It's all hardened off. I'm just waiting until I have space to plant this in the garden. Some of this stuff's getting donated. Most of these tomatoes are getting donated or given to friends. This tray right here is my 2nd succession of brassicas. I've got my Chinese cabbage in there, more kohlrabi, more red cabbage, more kale, and I've got some herbs. I've got some cilantro and parsley that I started. And then I've got more sweet alyssum. This needs to be thinned out, but I'll get to it, maybe or maybe not. Lots of onions. My onion bed is not ready yet, so they're just waiting for me. That's gomphrena, which is globe amaranth. I've got a whole bunch of milkweed back there that germinated. I've got more beets, dill, some more lettuce, and I've sowed some sunflowers in there. Most of this is getting given away to our trumpet instructor. And let's see, this tray is getting donated to the donation garden here locally. These are all of my zinnia. I'll find space for all of those in and around the yard. I've got some dahlias, cornflower. I've already put a few of those out. Straw flower. Those are Mexican torch sunflower. That's another great addition for a butterfly garden. And then I've got lots of different nasturtium this year that I'm growing. This is the one I'm most excited about, but I only have had a 1/3 of the seeds germinate. It's really frustrating. That's called Bloody Mary. I might try and sow some more just directly in the garden. Until really, like I said, most of this, the flowers, I'm gonna wait a few weeks. It's still only like April 25th or 6th. Flowers I'm not gonna plant out for another week or 2. But the onions could go out. Those brassicas could go out. They're just waiting for beds to be ready.